Hey folks, Ira here. I hope you have had a great Monday. Thanks for tuning in for the Earthquake Report. Today is March the 22nd, 2016. Today is also known as Credit Reduction and Fragrance Day. Yep. An outstanding 369 earthquakes have been experienced so far today. That is as of 8:18 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, do you have any idea what could be contributing to this increased seismic activity? I'll give you a moment to consider this. Anyways, our monthly total currently sits at a whopping 5,849. For the month, we have experienced one earthquake that fell within the magnitude 7 threshold, 4 earthquakes have been greater than a 6.0, and 71 have fallen within the magnitude 5 category. The strongest for the day comes to us from Pakistan, of all places. They were struck with a 5.3. Next up on the list, we visit China. They have been quite busy today. They have experienced a 4.9, a 4.8, and a 4.2, just to name a few. While we are in the area, we'll see that Fiji has seen some movement as well. Lambasa was struck with a 4.4. We'll focus next on Indonesia, where they have seen 4 earthquakes today, all of which were back-to-back 4.7s. Before we jet across the Pacific, let's scope out the activity in Hawaii. They have been fairly busy as well today. They've clocked in 9 thus far, the strongest being a series of 2.8s. Peru experienced a 4.6. The Northern Mariana Islands saw a 4.5, as did our friends in Chile. Next up, we will review the origin of today's incredible number of earthquakes. Go ahead and set your attention upon the California-Nevada border. Beatty experienced yet another earthquake today. That was so minor that it didn't even really register a magnitude 1. Next up, Hawthorne has been absolutely slammed with over 181 earthquakes thus far. Is that not insane? 181 earthquakes. If you are new to the channel or if you have failed to catch our previous videos, let's recap. Over the past few days, we've noticed an increase in activity in Nevada. We went from seeing 15 to 20 and then 30 earthquakes a day. As the week has progressed, we've seen a number of earthquakes and tremors increase substantially. Yesterday, we experienced 55, and today we have seen 181. Now, I have been researching Nevada's earthquake history for a bit, and I have uncovered some interesting information. The earthquake activity in Nevada has been a topic of discussion over the past few years. The debate centers around whether or not these quakes stem from the extinct volcanoes in the Sheldon Refuge, collectively known as the High Rock Caldera. Per seismologists in 2014, there is no direct evidence of volcanic activity driving the earthquakes. With that being said, though, this was purely just an educated remark. Actually, no additional seismic or geodetic research has been conducted to determine this. And what is interesting is that such a repetition of small earthquakes is often associated with volcanic activity, but they could also be related to tectonic movement, which is characteristic of the Western Great Basin region. Current hypotheses believe that the activity appears to be primarily associated to a fault or faults dipping steeply to the southeast and striking north-northeast. There is the possibility that a swarm of thousands of little earthquakes could lead to the big one, though. Get this, 3 magnitude 7.0 earthquakes each century and 1 magnitude 6.0 or larger each decade are expected in Nevada. The last big one was the Dixie Valley Fairview Peak event that hit in 1954 with 2 magnitude 7 earthquakes that came just 4 minutes apart. Now, let's take a moment and speak to this event because it is truly wild. Because the damage from the 2 earthquakes cannot be separated, they were treated as just one event. The population at the time was sparse in the epicenter region of this earthquake, and few man-made structures existed at the time. Damage to structures, therefore, was minor despite the geologic and seismographic evidence of a major earthquake. The earthquake was accompanied by offsets along many faults in 4 main zones of the north trending belt, 60 miles long by 20 miles wide. Minor geologic effects included changes in the flow of springs and wells, formations of craters and even water fountains, land slips and landslides, mud flows, and even rock falls. The main earthquake also was felt in Arizona, California, Idaho, Oregon, and Utah. And finally, just an FYI, Nevada is the third most seismically active state in the country, behind California and Alaska. With that being said, this could be a number of things. It could be indicative of movement along various faults, or it could be that we are seeing the onset of volcanic activity. We'll definitely continue to monitor this, so stay tuned for updates. Alaska has finally calmed down. They have experienced only 37 earthquakes today. ADCA led the charge with a 3.9, a 3.6, and a notable 3.3. Washington experienced only 2 today, all of which were incredibly minor, a 0.05 and a 0.04. Oregon has echoed this, as they have only clocked in 2 today, a 1.8 and a 1.3 in Lakeview. Yellowstone has been somewhat active. We have seen 10 earthquakes strike Montana, and a lone tremor rocked Idaho. The strongest to hit Montana was a 2.1 and Butte. Based on the data, this could be attributed to a Corey blast, though. The remainder of the earthquakes experienced were incredibly minor, all of which being below a magnitude 1. Oklahoma experienced 12 earthquakes today. Fairview took the brunt of today's activity with 10 quakes striking the area. The strongest there was a 2.8. Last of all, we saw a 1.3 in Missouri carry the New Madrid seismic zone and an unusual earthquake to strike the East Coast. A noteworthy 2.9 struck New Hampshire. Thank you, Deformed Craton. You have certainly given many something to talk about. And with that being said, that is it for the Earthquake Report, folks. If you experienced an earthquake today, or if you'd like to chat about our forecast, Nevada, or anything else, please post down below. We'd like to hear from you. Make certain to like and subscribe, share if you feel inclined. Also, if you like the social media thing, you can link to us via the standard allotted social sites in the description. We'll end this report with a video feed from our favorite star. Have a great night, guys. Hoorah!